Hello everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 243. Andrew Eisen here, and I have stopped playing video games this afternoon to bring you this very special podcast. What's special about it? Nothing. No, just regular run-of-the-mill podcast. Jared says, well, all the current Trails games will be localized by 2023. That's actually on my list to talk about, sure. But I'll just move it up since you mentioned. Let's reorganize that. There we go. So, I had joked previously I had joked that, and I lost the, hang on a second. Let me find it real quick. Why? For crying out loud. Sorry. There we go. So I had joked previously that my playthrough of Trails in the Sky is so damn slow. This might actually require some setup. So I've been playing through Trails in the Sky, which is just part one of multiple arcs of a very long-running series of video games. So the first arc is the Trails arc, which is 3 different games. Then the next arc is 2 games, the Crossbell arc, and then the third is the Cold Steel games, which I think is 4 games. So I finally finished the first one last month, or a month ago, and looking forward to starting up the second chapter next month. I started it in August of last year, the first game of the series. Then my computer died in November, got a new one in March, and played it through till the end of May, I believe. So it took me about 6 months of playing through the game. Of course, I was streaming the whole thing. So I joked that, and the fun thing is Trails and Cold Steel both were localized, but Crossbell was not. So I had joked that by the time I actually get to the Crossbell arc, it will probably have been officially localized. There are fan translations I could play if it weren't. But now I don't have to worry about that because Falcom had a little music concert thing, and during it they had a few announcements, namely that Crossbell, both games are being localized and coming to the West. The first one will be here next fall of 2022, and the second game the following year sometime. And if I start second chapter in July, that's probably going to take me through to the end of the year, if not a bit into 2022. And then the third chapter will take me a good chunk of 2022. So that brings us in near at least fall 2022. And hey, first Crossbell game. By the time I finish that one, we'll be into 2023, and it won't be too long to wait for the second Crossbell game. Unless the games take a turn for the distasteful and I no longer want to play them anymore. But there are 2 other games that were announced that are getting localized, and I had to look them up because I was not familiar with them. One is just a new game called Trails into Reverie. I'm not sure if that's part of the Cold Steel arc, or if it's a new arc, or a standalone, or what. And the other one, The Legend of Nyuta, Boundless Trails, is apparently just a standalone Trails game. It's not in any of the arcs. So, neat. Which, of course, gives me great hope. Of course, this has nothing to do with anything, but I'm still holding out hope for Yakuza Kenzan and Ishin, the Yakuza spin-offs from several years ago now. I still want to play both of those. Ryuga Gotoku Studios. Bring them to me. Probably not happening this year, because Lost Judgment 2 is happening this year, but maybe next year. Of course, we know they're working on another Yakuza game. Yakuza 8, Like a Dragon 2. So, but someday, I will get to play those games without having to actually learn Japanese, which I'm not going to do. I'm fine with my baby-level vocabulary that I picked up just watching anime and other films from the country. Jared says, the cool thing is that the group that translated on their own is partnering with NIS to release the 2 Crossbell games. That I did not know. Very cool. So, nevertheless, that's a cool development. Video games are fun, or, well, fun video games are fun, and now I get even more. So as long as I'm not struck dead by like a rogue meteor or something, I look forward to playing those in the next year or two. Of course, haven't even started 2nd chapter yet, so of Trails in the Sky. So we shall see. All right, so there's that. So when last we left off in the saga of my exercise equipment, I had bought a workout bench, which you can see behind me right here. And I started putting it together before realizing I did not have all the necessary tools. So I had to buy a toolbox, and I had to buy some grease to grease up my nuts so that they bend and swing correctly. Boy, that's childish. I mean, it's so childish and unfunny, it's funny to me. So I bought some white lithium grease, and I bought a toolbox, which came in a box about that big, like this. I go out onto my porch, and there's this humongous box there. I'm like, oh my god. It looked so much smaller and more compact on the website. Luckily, it only took up about 20% of the space inside the box. The rest of it was filled with bubble wrap. So now I have a toolbox, and I was able to actually put this thing together, so yay. Unfortunately, the weight rack has become lost. So I contacted Walmart, and they said, yeah, we're going through a third-party vendor, so we're going to have to contact them to see what happened to the other piece that you paid for. Because I only got the bench with the couple other little accessories. I did lube it up, Jared. It's all nice and greasy. So all the... See? Everything... Well... I'm sitting in a chair trying to lift this upwards, but you can't see it, but there's 90 pounds of weight on this. So if I try and... Also, that's just a really bad position to lift from the shoulder. If I do, I just end up pulling the chair over. So, but you can sit... I'll help. Look! All the parts move! Isn't that cool? Yay! So, still need the weight rack though. Don't know when I'll be getting that. Need to hear from Walmart. Needs to hear from the third-party vendor that they're going through to bring me my stuff. So, this thing is not the best. You can see that the seat is in an upright position, so when I do get a rack, I can do incline presses and flies. So that goes up and down. Another one of the, thanks to a greasy nut. Well, it's a bolt, but there is a nut on the end of the bolt. And greasy nuts is a much funnier phrase than greasy bolt. It also has, as you can see in the front, a preacher curl pad and curl bar, which I can't do too many curls at once because, as you can see, the handle is one solid piece, which means that when you're grabbing the handle and curling in, it's rotating in your hand, and especially when you use higher weights, that friction is going to start ripping the skin off your hand, so probably best to use gloves. If it were a more expensive piece of exercise equipment, the handles would be free turning, so they would the bar would actually turn inside of the handle. But as a curl bar, it works pretty well. Although the creature pearl, preacher curl pad, that comes off, but there's a bolt that you have to screw in to hold it in place, and that takes a lot of screwing. Those greasy nuts, they take a lot of screwing to get that sucker to lock into place. I really wish it was something that I could, for example, the curl bar comes off with just this little bolt here. So that's nice. That you can put on and off really easy. But the actual pad, this thing, that takes some doing to get on and off. I mean, it's not difficult to do. It just you have to unscrew the thing, and then there's a little cap that goes in the hole. But why would you ever put it there? Because it's a pain in the ass to claw back out, unless you think you're going to drop something in there. There is also, you can kind of see it, the thing where the curl bar is. That also allows you to do a front leg lift for your quads and a hamstring curl for your hamstrings. The front leg raise for the quads, that works pretty well, but again, it's not the most expensive piece of equipment, so the pads are equidistant, which means as you extend your leg, they're going to roll up your shin, which is not the best, but it works. The worst part about it, I would say, is the hamstring curl, because you can't bring your heels to your butt. It doesn't go that far. Whoop, quick. Yeah. Okay, now you get to see how much trouble this thing is to take off. Yeah, it's still working on it. Still unscrewing. There we go. Alright, what was I doing? Oh, yeah. So when you do a hamstring curl, hamstring curl, and I just moved the whole damn thing backwards. That's nice. No. Here. Oh, for Christ's sake. Alright, am I even on camera? Can you see what I'm doing? No. There we go. So, it locks here, which means I can only get my legs a little bit more than 90 degrees, which is not the best. You really want to, when doing a reverse hamstring curl, you really want to pull your heels into your butt. And I can't. But it's better than nothing. I mean, otherwise, it's spend hundreds more dollars and you can have all those features. But for what I paid, not too bad. So just have to wait for the weight rack to actually get here. Then I can lube up whatever nuts are needed for that thing's assembly. And giggle to myself. And continue giggling as I make inadvertent obscene gestures as I'm lubing up the bolts. Which, maybe there's a non-obscene way to take a bolt and lube it up with grease, but I have no idea what it is, and I don't really care because it's funny to me, because I am a child. So anyway, there's Right there. There's my new toy. And I do apologize for, all this crap laying in the background, but my place is only so big and I have to work out of my home too, which means I have to spread stuff around. What that is, those binders are full of barcodes for different customers. That's actually one of my laptops laying on the floor. Those pieces of paper are barcodes for our employee barcodes, so I can scan in different employees, so I can mimic different employees doing stuff. So basically, I wander around I have stuff hanging and sitting in different places. So I go over here, I scan a barcode, I walk over here, scan. I have to flip through the book to get codes for whatever software I'm doing. So that's why there's so much crap laying on the floor. It's also another one of my tablets. Yeah. But, I mean, I live in a one-bedroom apartment, which is better than my studio that I used to live in. That would have been a real pain in the ass to try to work out of. But one of the hard parts about my job is it requires a lot of surface area. I actually had to get a second desk when I worked in the office, which was not a desk, it was just like a dresser. That I had sitting next to my desk just to expand the surface area, because I constantly have, I have my dual monitor setup for my main PC. I usually have at least 2 laptops opened up, one hosting a job, one doing something else. Then I have all of the actual equipment just laid out next to each other. I have to have a couple terminals for counting, I have to have a couple tablets for auditing and other crap. So right now I'm working pretty much with that table over there, and you can see all the crap on the table, but also all the crap on the floor next to the table, because that's where all the power outlets are, because I have to charge all that crap, because otherwise the batteries will run out. Alright, but enough about me. Let's talk about me in video games. So, I spent my allotted video game time on Thursday downloading video game demos. I downloaded the demo for Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I'll be playing on the Sunday stream tomorrow. That should be interesting because I have no interest in Stories 2. I didn't play the first one, mainly because I had no interest in it, and on top of that it was on the 3DS, which is definitely where I do not want to play a complicated RPG. I remember playing Dragon Quest IX on the DS, and not my favorite of the series, but it's still fun. And after 30 hours or so, I just stopped, mainly because I don't think the game is that great. And also, I spent the entire 30 hours enjoying it, but every minute of it, while I was having fun, I was like, man, I would really just rather play this on my TV. I don't know if you can hear the but the people across the street are having a party. So, good on them. And their lovely taste in music. So, I've seen the advertising for Stories 2, and even though I'm a big Monster Hunter fan, it's doing nothing for me. Generally speaking, for RPGs, I'm not a big fan of the Pokemon-esque collect a bunch of monsters type of games. Also, I really don't like Navarro, the feline, and I like cats a lot. And they call monsters monsties, which drives me up the wall. That's immature, yes, but it still does. And they're like, hey, the Razor Wing Rathalos, what should we call it? Harvey? Brianna? Susan? No, they call it Ratha. They spent a lot of time coming up with that name. What should we call the Rathalos? How about Ratha? And that is a really dumb reason to be against a video game, but sometimes one's reasons are dumb. Nevertheless, I downloaded the demo, and we'll give that the old college try. You did try in college, didn't you? So look forward to that tomorrow. I also downloaded Scarlet Nexus, a game that I've always thought looked like Astral Chain. And I like Astral Chain, so I've been looking forward to that. And I haven't read any reviews yet, but the early impressions have been solid. So I was looking forward to playing it. And I played the demo Friday, and after about 40 minutes I just shut it off because I wasn't having any fun with it. I think it may just be a bad demo. It's weird because it both feels like it's the start of the game, but it also feels like you're missing about an hour where they explained what everything is. Also, visually, it is bland as hell. You remember Nier Automata and how gorgeous that game was, but for some reason Square Enix decided to advertise it by showing exclusively the grayest, dullest areas. They only showed the crumbling gray city and the brown desert. I mean, there's the whole amusement park with the fireworks. There's the steel robot place with the browns and the oranges. There's the whole foresty area that has, greens and yellows and stuff in it. No, gray and brown. Games can't be anything but gray and brown. Now, Scarlet Nexus, I know, has a very vibrant high contrast color palette because I've seen it in the advertising. It's very colorful. It's very gorgeous. But the demo area is washed out and burnt orange. The lighting is way overexposed and everything is orange. It is ugly as hell. Not a good first impression. You pick up a lot of crap off the ground, but the game doesn't tell you what it is or what it's for. You have a full party of people, even people that aren't in your party, whose powers you can use, even though they're not there. But there's some in-game thing. It's like, we're psychically connected, so you can borrow our powers. Okay. The game starts out, it's like, oh, beware the drones. The drones are not only not a problem, they're not even there. So I don't know what that was all about. The acting is very boring. It's not that the acting is bad, it's just that it's like the characters couldn't give less of a shit what they're talking about. Like, I have a feeling maybe they're going for the, I was listening to it in English, mainly because the characters chat while you're trying to fight, and it's difficult for me to read subtitles in the lower left-hand corner of the screen when there's all other kinds of crap going on with the action and the heads-up display. I need to shave. I think maybe they're trying to go for the alien, blue-collar, just this is a boring job. This is just a 9-to-5 office job that I do. This is routine for me. Blasé kind of thing. But it just comes off as no one gives the slightest damn about anything that's happening. All the lines are read really flat and straight with absolutely no interest or emotion. And the character that I chose is constantly whining about one of the other characters and where she is and what she's doing, and oh, I'll protect you, to the point where you're like, oh my god, shut up. There's another guy who is just an absolutely unpleasant asshole the entire time. Like, he's that guy who's just snide and negative about everything and constantly reminds you about how much he's not impressed about anything and doesn't like anything or what you or what you're doing. To the point where I was like, I get off of my team. I don't want you here. And I'm a negative person. I'm a very cynical, pessimistic, broody gentleman. But this guy was getting on my nerves. This guy got on my nerves. It's one of the reasons I turned the damn thing off. The combat is interesting, but it did not click with me, at least in the 40 minutes I played with it. So yeah, Scarlet Nexus was just a face plant of a demo for me, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to that. I thought it looked neat, but you know, I was thinking about picking it up, but after that demo, nope. Now, granted, could be a bad demo, but this is the danger with demos. This is why a lot of companies, oh, demos are easy, just put out a demo. This is one reason why companies might be hesitant to put out a demo, is because if they put out a bad one, they could lose sales. Now, I wasn't guaranteed to buy I almost said Astral Chain, Scarlet Nexus, but because I really didn't like Code Vein, or rather the demo. But it kind of, there was a possibility I might have picked it up once it dropped in price, but now probably not. So I'd be interested to know from anyone who has played the game, is the demo the actual opening of the game, or does it skip ahead an hour or two and drop you in medias res? Pronouncing that wrong. So that's a shame. But hopefully I'm very much hoping that when we play Monster Hunter Stories 2 tomorrow, I'll be, oh, this game is really, really fun. I hope. I hope it's not boring or annoying or both. Several years ago, changing topics now, the Wii U, releasing on the Wii U was the HD remake of Zelda Wind Waker, a beloved video game from, what, 2003, somewhere on there? The HD remake did a little bit more than simply HDify the graphics. It also made a couple quality of life improvements. Most notably, it added the Speedy Sale, which was an item you could purchase in the auction house in the game. So with rupees, right? It's not DLC. There was an item available in game that you could equip so that your boat would go faster, and you could change the wind on a whim. Unlike the original game, where changing the wind direction was very cumbersome, and even with the wind at your back, it took about a full minute to go each square, and the island you may want to go to could be 2 squares away. You do get a warp spell later in the game, but I think of the 49 square grid, 7x7 grid, there are, I think, only 7 warp points. So you could be 2 squares away from where you want to go. It's a 2-minute boat ride. And there's nothing to do. There's absolutely nothing to do. There's no obstacles. There's no enemies. There is nothing to do. At first, it's kind of nice because the graphics are great and are gorgeous, and the music is wonderful. And it's da 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 da. That's not the theme that actually plays on the C, but you know, the graphics and the music combined to be, oh, this is gorgeous. I'm just letting the wind flow through my hair, my very short hair. It's getting longer. But after a while, it's like, oh my god, is Link going to get the magical outboard motor or what? So it was nice to see that this little quality of life improvement hit Wind Waker, among others. The Triforce Fetch Quest was shrinked down. I think they replaced the original game had a Game Boy Advance Link functionality thing, the Tingle Tuner or whatever. They replaced that because the Game Boy Advance was not linking with the Wii U. They've replaced that with a comparable item. I think they did something with the photography mode where you could only hold, in the original game, you could only hold 3 pictures at a time, and then you had to go develop them one at a time, but only in a specific place on an island that you couldn't warp to, so you had to sail to. I think they fixed that too, but they made some nice quality of life changes, so that was cool. Wouldn't it have sucked if the Speedy Sail was paid DLC? How craptastic would it be if Nintendo back in 2013-14, whenever this game came out, had sold us Wind Waker HD for $60 and then said, hey, you remember what a pain in the ass sailing can become? You give us another $25 and we'll give you a Speedy Sail. That would have been some right bullshit. I'm glad Nintendo didn't do that. What kind of horrible monster would ever lock quality of life improvements to an HD remaster of a 10-year-old video game behind an additional paywall on top of the full price you're charging for the remaster? Only the most loathsome, scum-sucking, despicable video game company would ever think to do that. So, hey, Nintendo's soon going to be releasing an HD remaster of Zelda Skyward Sword. And Zelda Skyward Sword, in addition to having a new paint job, is also getting various quality of life improvements. One of which, in the original game, the game takes place in the sky and on the land. And you have to drop out of the sky onto the land, wander around, beat the dungeons, and then zip back up to the sky, where you live. Now, when you're down on the ground, you can only zip back up to the sky at the save stations, which are dotted around the landscape. So there's, you know, in the entire volcano area, there's like 3 or 4 save posts where you can save your game and return to the sky. Well, quality of life improvement in Skyward Sword HD, you can just zip to the sky anywhere. Any old time you want. You don't have to get to a save station. You want to return to the sky, you can just zip to the sky and then return back down where you left off at your leisure. That is a lovely quality of life improvement that Nintendo has included in the full price remaster of a 10-year-old game. How shitty would it be if Nintendo locked that quality of life improvement behind a $25 payroll on top of the $60 they're charging for this remake of a 10-year-old game? Pretty shitty, right? I mean, unbelievably, disgustingly, what the hell is wrong with you levels of shitty, you greedy bastard? So Nintendo is locking that functionality behind a $25 paywall in the form of an amiibo. It's not as simple as buying a $25 download key to unlock this quality of life functionality in a game you already paid $60 for. No. Oh, sweet innocent child, no. No, you've got to source and buy a $25 piece of plastic. It's a cool piece of plastic. It's a statuette of Zelda and her bird. Her Skyloft bird. I forget what they're called. What are they called? Let's see. Loftwing. That's what it's called. So you want that quality of life improvement in the game you already paid $60 for? that's a remake of a game that you probably paid $50 for 10 years ago, that's going to cost you $25. You're going to have to go to GameStop or Target or Walmart or something and find that amiibo. I hope it's not sold out. I mean, you can order it online. Currently from Best Buy. Oh, shit! Out of stock. Well, it's available at GameStop. Oh, no! Oh, no. Oh, it's out of stock at GameStop, too. Well, that's a shame. Well. 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 I wouldn't mind this as much if the crap that they lock behind the amiibo paywall, so to speak, were also available as just a digital download, right? Because the amiibo are cool. I mean, they're cool. I like the figurines. I like the sculpts. They look nice. But I'm not a figurine collector. That's just not the stuff I collect. So I personally don't have any use for the plastic tat. So I would be less bothered if the amiibo functionality were also available to download from the eShop at a reduced price, right? So imagine if you can either, for 25 bucks, you get a cool plastic toy that you can put on your shelf and looks neat, in addition to some in-game functionality. Or, for $1 or $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever, significantly less dollars, you can just download the functionality. Now, personally, this is only my opinion, but it is correct. So, quality of life improvements to remasters should not be locked behind a paywall, whether that's amiibo or a paid DLC. So says my humble yet inerrant opinion. So I may have mentioned, I did, that I'm quite excited for Metroid Dread, game coming out this fall. So are they going to spoil it with amiibo? Well, there is an amiibo. 2, actually, but so far as I can tell, they're only sold in a 2-pack. Let me double check that real quick. Out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. See website. Okay. Out of stock. Yeah, you can't buy it. Unlike the, pardon me, unlike the Zelda and her, oh goodness, the Zelda and her Loftwing amiibo, that's 2 characters on one stand, so it's 1 figurine, $25. This one is 2 separate amiibo. There's Samus, and then there's Emmy, the robot thing that stalks you through the space station, wherever you are. This 2-pack costs $30. So, what functionality are they locking behind the expensive plastic toys this time? Well, similar to the Zelda series amiibo for Breath of the Wild, every day you can tap the amiibo on the Joy-Con, wherever the NFC reader is. NFC near field, yeah. And it will give you some extra energy or extra ammo. Missiles, specifically. Just like in Breath of the Wild, where you tap your various Zelda amiibo, and it would just give you some resources and materials. Some apples and carrots and tree branches and lint. maybe some rocks. Yeah, just stuff that you could pick up off the ground anyway, but this saves you a few steps, you know? I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. As long as it's not content that's actually gated off. It's a convenience when you're paying for. That's fine. We're giving you a couple extra materials once a day that you could get in the game easily anyway, but, you know, here's a convenience. That's fine. Is that their only functionality? No! What else do they do? Well, the Samus amiibo expands your energy tank reserves by 1, and the Emmy amiibo expands it by 1 missile tank plus. So if there are a total of 10 energy tanks in the game, anyone who buys the amiibo can have 11. Likewise, if there's however many missile tanks adds up to 150 missiles, if you scan the Emmy amiibo, you get 160 missiles. Fine. That doesn't feel like the game is tuned around the extra energy tank and extra missile tank, so I don't feel like anyone's getting screwed there. Although it would piss me off if there were like 9 energy tanks and the 10th one was the amiibo, and so it was, you know, 2 rows of 5, but you couldn't complete that second row, and they'd never be even unless you bought the amiibo to plug in that last energy tank. That would suck. But if it's a, you know, an 11th tank or something like that, okay, fine. But still, good luck finding the amiibos, because they're sold out everywhere. Hey, Nintendo, what are you doing about scalpers? You know, you announced the special edition of Metroid Dread and put it up for pre-order, and now it's not available anymore unless you want to pay like $300 for it on, you know, eBay and other resellers. I'd be very interested to know what you are doing to protect your customers from that. Nothing. That's what I thought. Yeah, I mean, you're not alone there, Nintendo. That's what most of them do. Nothing. Is there anything publishers can do to completely prevent that? No, probably not. But they could do something, but they just don't care because they got their money. But if you did something and it was even partially effective, you would still have all your money, but you would have more happy customers. You see, when you do nothing, you get all the money because scalpers are going to buy all this crap. But then you have really pissed off customers. If you make an effort, even if it's not entirely successful, you still have all the money, but you have more happy customers. Sounds worth it to me, unless my happiness isn't important to you. Nintendo International Corporation, I thought we were friends. Hello, Chaos. Chaos says I had to pay $60 for the amiibo. I had to import them from PlayAsia. Oh, God. Is that... Oh... Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they are cool looking. I'm not gonna lie, they're cool looking. If I collected figurines, I would want them. You know? But I'm also a lazy person. I actually wrote the guides for, the guides, IGN's guides for at least 2 of the Skylanders games, possibly 3, at least 2 of them. And those games predated Amiibo. And if you're not familiar, how those work is you had a portal of power, and you had a bunch of plastic toys, and whichever plastic toy you put on the portal of power, that was the character you would be using in the game. So if you've played any of the Lego games, games which are famous for having rosters of dozens upon dozens of characters, it's kind of like that. Now, imagine playing Lego Marvel something, right? You know, Marvel superhero Lego game. And it's like, okay, I'm currently playing Wolverine, but now I want to play Emma Frost, so I hold X button, I pull up the character roster, I go over to Emma, and I grab her, and we're now playing as Emma. Oh, now I want to play as Captain America, so so I hold the X button, bring up the roster, ooh, America Chavez, let's use her instead. Imagine, if you will, if every time you wanted to switch a character in a Lego game, you had to find the appropriate Lego minifig and put it on a portal of power. It's kind of a pain in the ass, because you're sitting there playing the game, and you're like, I want to switch characters. Set down controller, get up off your ass, go to the pile of toys, dig through it until you find the one you want, grab it, remove the thing from the portal of power, put the new one on, grab the control. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Is it because I'm old and lazy? It may well be. But I don't want to do that. I never wanted to do that. I hate that. That doesn't improve the game any. That's taking something that was fairly streamlined and making it a lot more inconvenient and cumbersome. And expensive. And profitable, which is why they do that, because they don't really care about how much fun you're having as long as your wallet's open. And to be clear, I thought the Skylanders games, the ones I played, were decent games. They're simple, but they're charming, fun little platformers with attractive, goofy characters. Attractive in the sense that, I mean, they're all like, you know, monsters and stuff, but just, you know, aesthetically attractive character designs. They're adorable. But when playing, I'm like, man, this would be so much better if I didn't have to worry about all those damn plastic toys on the second shelf under the Labo. I think I only care about consumers because I am one. Maybe, if I were a video game publisher, or worked for a video game publisher, I would stop caring about the customers and start caring about the company publishing the game. Ah, how cynical and depressing. Now I has a sad. Cass says, wasn't available as a double pack on the website, had to buy them individually. Which one are you talking about, Cass? Is it the Metroid Dread ones? I've only seen a 2-pack. If you're talking about those, I didn't even realize they were available as a single. So far as I've seen, it's just the 2-pack. Let's see. Yeah, well, I'm not going to spend the remainder of the podcast browsing Amazon or whatever. So, the Metroid ones, they're cool, don't get me wrong, but they are sold individually. So they're $30 for the 2-pack. I know you paid $60, so $30 a piece, huh? Oh, it's overseas. They're available by themselves. Here in North America, they're probably only the 2-pack. Okay, then that's what it is, likely. Metroid Dread still looks fun, though. And I might be inclined to get the Super Special Edition, because it comes with an art book. And while figurines aren't my jam, my bag of interest to me, art is. I love art books. I love concept art and behind-the-scenes sketches and model sheets. Designs for, drop designs. Famously, Beverly, who is what I've named Linkle, the female version of Link from, who actually did show up in Hyrule Warriors. Linkle is just a dumb name, so I renamed her Beverly, and everyone agreed with me on that one, which is why, as you know, everyone refers to her, rightfully, as Beverly. Because it's a better name. Because Linkle's stupid. Fun character, though. So she was originally a sketch in, I think, for like Skyward Sword, or found in like a coffee table art books for Skyward Sword, or maybe one of the other compendiums. Okay, so assuming it doesn't get canceled, I was lucky enough to secure a Metroid Dread Special Edition at GameStop. Ooh. Well done. That was fast. Yeah. So I certainly don't begrudge anyone who buys special editions. I'm not saying, stop doing that, you're making it terrible for the rest of us. No, it's fine. I like some of that stuff too. Personally, figure, when the, a lot of the special editions will include like a figurine or a model. I'm like, I don't care, I don't want that. But if it's like, it comes with an art book, I'm like, oh, it does? We all like what we like. Suzanne, I haven't seen you in a while. Hello. Hope you're well. We're wrapping up, but glad you could make it. I am actually out of topics. That was my topic list for tonight. I've spent the majority of the day playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, because if one is going to Yakuza, one should always Yakuza like a dragon. That is how one should Yakuza. And there is an option. Yakuza Like a Dragon is the one is the RPG one. There's an option in there to auto battle, and just in case you can't be bothered to play the game. I'm doing my taxes. Here, you battle. Ooh, it's a hell of a party they're having over there. Someone's getting congratulated for something, and everyone went woo. I don't know if my mic's picking it. It does count, Suzanne. Yes, it does. And I tried it just because I was curious how the game's AI battled compared to how I generally battle. And I thought, maybe the game actually knows better than me. And my main observation was the game is not as conservative with magic as I am. It also is a lot more likely to use special moves that have status effects attached to them. The status effects in this one are like, you can give people colds, you can make them bleed. Just status effects. They have somewhat different names, but you can. There's anger, or rage or something. There's mind control. I forget what it's called, but your RPG status effects. In RPGs, I rarely cast status effects, because the only enemies they work on frequently or consistently are enemies that I can kill in one hit, and enemies that are strong enough to actually last a few rounds are usually like immune to status ailments. It's like, oh, Here's a big tough enemy who's definitely going to last at least 5 rounds. Maybe I should try sleep or poison. All right, let's go for poison. Maybe we can cut that sucker down to 4 rounds. Cast poison was not effective. Great, just wasted my turn. One thing that Yakuza Like a Dragon and other RPGs, is not unique to this one, does that I really like is the status ailments are on top of other attacks. So even if the enemy resists the status ailment, you're still doing damage. That's a good way to do it. It would be nice if in Dragon Quest, if I cast Sleep or Poison or something like that, and it didn't work, I still did at least a little bit of damage. If it did, I would be more inclined to use those spells. So, there you go. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's, Suzanne says, weapons with status ailments are awesome. Yeah, because they do damage and they have a percentage chance of proccing the status ailment. Similar to how it works in Monster Hunter. So you can have weapons that have no element or status on them. They're just raw damage. You just hit things over the head. Or you can have weapons with fire element or paralysis status. So if you smack something with a fire weapon, it does damage, but it also does fire damage, which a monster may or may not be resistant to. If you use a paralysis weapon, you smack a monster and you're still doing damage, but you're also building up a hidden meter that when it fills, you proc a paralysis. And then the monster holds still for a minute, or more like 5 or 6 seconds, so you can smack them in the skull. Or in the groin, which is usually where I position. If you're watching the Leslie and Bob episodes, which looking at the views, you're not. I can't blame you. I'm really bad at it. Standing in under the monster's legs and just constantly smacking it in the groin is the Leslie and Bob special. Speaking of Leslie and Bob, it's done now. Friday was the All-Mother fight, which is technically the final boss. There's still Valstrax, which was a monster that was added in the latest update a couple of weeks ago. And I plan to fight Valstrax, but you have to be Hunter rank 100, and currently Leslie and Bob are not. And I'm finished with the game. I've completed all the quests. So the only way to get to Hunter rank 100 is to just keep playing until I play long enough that my Hunter rank rolls over to 100 and Valstrax shows up. That's not going to happen this week. Capcom releases a new event quest every week, and I do play those, so my Hunter rank does steadily tick up. So eventually I will roll over to 100, and when that happens, there will be a Leslie and Bob Faces Valstrax video. So for the, conservatively speaking, 10 or 12 of you who are enjoying the videos, I'm glad you are. This series is for you. There will be a Valstrax video at some point. It kind of sucks because I've been playing for every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday there's been a Leslie and Bob video. I would have liked them to have continued that and the final video be the Monday after the last one, but I really don't feel like just arbitrarily grinding for another couple of hours to get my Hunter rank up high enough to do it. I'd rather Yakuza Like a Dragon. So 8 o'clock. All right. that's the podcast for tonight. So thank you all for showing up. Suzanne, I see you again. Um, tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, is another Sunday stream. I will be playing the demo for Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. So, I'm kind of scared because I'm afraid I'm going to not like it, and I don't want to not like it. But we'll see. I'm hoping it will be a fun, entertaining, charming RPG. So we'll give it a play tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time. So I hope you'll stop by and watch me fumble through that. I think. Let me check my calendar here. The Sunday after, which is the 4th. Yeah, it should be okay because it's noon. So yeah, I don't think any need to cancel the 4th of July stream because if we're doing anything, we're probably going to do it in the evening. Of course, many of you are in different time zones, so I think we'll be starting up Trails in the Sky second chapter. That's the plan anyway. If a bunch of you are really looking forward to me starting second chapter and are not available on the 4th, let me know, and if I hear from a bunch of you that that's not convenient and you'd really rather a non-holiday day for the start of that next series, I'll push it back a week. Not a problem, just let me know. In the meantime, sleep well, don't let the spiders bite, or the bed bugs, or the toothy cockroaches, or anything that might be crawling around your room, under the bed, in the closet, behind the floorboards, behind the furniture, any of the creepy crawlies that are no doubt infesting our bedrooms. Don't let them bite. Tell them no. No. No biting. No biting. All right. Hope to see you tomorrow afternoon for another Sunday stream. Or bathroom lizards. Bathtub lizards. That's right, Suzanne. All right, take care, everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow afternoon. Bye.